Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas is under construction in Finland, and we have our first look at what this ship is all about and what it looks like inside up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and I recently just got back from Finland, in which I had the unique opportunity to go visit Icon of the Seas. It's actually under construction at the Meyer Turku shipyard in Turku, Finland, and this is my first time actually going to a shipyard to see a cruise ship under construction. Icon of the Seas is roughly 80% complete at the time that I visited, and it's a real opportunity to see how a cruise ship is built and get a preview and a sense of what the ship is like in its current state. Now, obviously, it's not done yet. As you can see, there's a lot of exposed beams and wires and paneling missing, but that's to be expected. It's, of course, under construction. But the point of this visit was to see what the ship is kind of like and the flow of the ship and the layout, and basically take what we've only seen up till now as being concept art and put it into perspective. So this is a walking tour of Icon of the Seas. We were really lucky to be invited by Royal Caribbean to check it out. I think the AquaDome on Deck 15 of Icon of the Seas is probably going to be the marquee attraction on board. The giant 363-ton glass and steel dome will offer 220-degree ocean views. And while the theater will offer fountain shows and high-tech features, it's really going to be well known for, of course, the performances on board. Now, the theater wasn't quite done by any means, but it was probably the most complete venue that we did see, and it gave us our first real preview of what the experience is going to be in the AquaDome. Now, in addition to the actual theater itself, the AquaDome is a neighborhood, so there will be dining and drinking venues, as well as some amazing seating areas that you can check out. Now, in addition to this, there's also going to be the Overlook, and the Overlook is an area that's within the AquaDome, which has different restaurants and bars and seating areas. It looks really cool, and might be a really hidden gem at the front of the ship. And it's not limited to just adults like the solarium is, but this idea is that you can go here and kind of relax and chill out, whether it is day or night. And these pods that they're going to be installing here look to be, well, probably the most iconic place you could be on board. Certainly the most sought-after destination for a seat because, I don't know, they're pods and they look cool. So walking through the AquaDome, the scale of it was really impressive. And even though a lot of it was still covered up and most of it is still missing, what we could see looked really impressive. Next up is Thrill Island. Thrill Island, as the name implies, is where you're going to find, well, a lot of thrills. Your water park is here. Category 6, which is the name of the water park that Royal Caribbean is designing for the water park, and it's got tons to do, including the Frightening Bolt, which is the tallest drop slide at sea, the Pressure Drop, the first open free fall slide at sea, Storm Chasers, which are the racing slides, and Hurricane Hunter, the first family raft slide at sea, and of course, number 6, Storm Surge, the first suspended family raft at sea. Looks really cool. My kids can't wait to do it, and I'm pretty intrigued by it. At the time of our visit, they're still installing and beginning the installation of the water slides, but they're starting to be put in there. And I gotta say, the fact that there's gonna be an aqua park that is complimentary on a cruise ship like this looks really amazing, because whether you're a kid or an adult, I think a lot of people really love this idea of going to water parks. Something that might be a little more tepid, if you will, is the Crown's Edge. The Crown's Edge is a ropes course meets adrenaline junkie free fall. Don't want to give away too much of it, but essentially you're tethered to the course and you go around it and things happen and it goes right over the edge of the ship. I'm hopeful I will be brave enough to try it out myself, and maybe I'll send Jenna to do it for me, but nonetheless, it'll be something that's available to do there, and it looks to be really interesting. There's also a rock climbing wall on Icon of the Seas. Of course, no Royal Caribbean cruise ship is complete without a rock climbing wall, and they have a pretty big one. We got a little sneak preview of it, but eventually you'll have a nice rock climbing wall with different courses to try, so a neat feature for sure. Now, we also got a chance to look at the base camp area. Base camp is kind of like a spot where you can chill out while other people are doing other things within Thrill Island. So if your kids are on Thrill Island doing the water slides, you can go to base camp, grab a drink, and enjoy the view and be in the shade, but you're still together, but are still able to do things, apart. And by the same token, as I mentioned, there'll be mini golf, and the mini golf course, Royal Caribbean says, is going to be the best mini golf course they've ever made. They're really proud of this mini golf course because of the level of theming involved. Now, we didn't get a chance to see the Hideaway, which is the area behind another neighborhood of Icon of the Seas, which offers some amazing views of the aft of the ship and the best sunsets, as Royal Caribbean says. Anyway, we weren't able to see that one, unfortunately, because it was still covered up and there was no access to it, but something to really look into, and I'm excited for that. Next up is the Royal Promenade, and the Royal Promenade is where you'll actually enter as you walk onto the ship. Walking onto Icon of the Seas, you'll enter the 1400 bar area, which will lead you right into the Royal Promenade. Something interesting about the Royal Promenade is that it will be a full loop. So if you've been on Freedom or Oasis class ships, the Promenade starts on one end of the ship and then ends on the other one. They're not going to do that in this case. It's actually going to do a full loop. Now the 1400 bar is where you're board the ship, and Royal Caribbean wanted to come up with a new idea because they didn't want you just being dumped into one random area on the ship, like, hey, you're on a cruise ship. They wanted to have more of an experience when you enter. And certainly when you enter, you're going to see the Pearl. Now, the Pearl is this new venue where you don't quite yet know everything there is to do here, but we did get a preview of it. Unfortunately, they wouldn't let us shoot any video in here. So the best I can describe it is when you're inside the Pearl, all the little panels in the walls around you move and change colors, and there was music playing as a demo, and it's a very alpha test of what they can do. But the Pearl seems to be this multi-sensory experience. Again, Royal Caribbean has been cagey about providing details on it, but I think it's going to be something that when something is happening in here, you're going to want to stop and turn around and go in there. On the other side of the Pearl is Pearl Cafe. Pearl Cafe not only has amazing views outside, that's something Royal Caribbean really wanted, by the way, is they wanted to have views of the water. Also, it's a cafe, it's got something to eat, it's got drinks and whatnot. But one mantra, one trend of Icon is certainly a connection to the water. And you're going to find a lot of glass windows that look out. Because something that Royal Caribbean picked up on was that people complained that when they were on their cruise ships, they just weren't seeing a lot of the ocean. Even though they were on the ocean, there wasn't that really the sense of they were connected to it. So as a result, Royal Caribbean put more glass and more viewing opportunities within the Royal Promenade and all around Icon of the Seas, something that we haven't really seen since maybe the Radiance class cruise ships. But the cool thing about the Royal Promenade, I think, is that the fact it's going to be 2 decks high, deck 5 and deck 6. There's going to be restaurants and lounges and shopping opportunities for you. So certainly the Royal Promenade is going to be a major hub just like it is on other ships, but like so many things about Icon of the Seas, it's really taken to the next level because, of course, you're going to have 2 decks and it's going to be that full loop. So it feels a little more encompassing. Of course, there'll be other venues of some fan favorites, whether it's the pub, whether it's the karaoke bar, whether it is the schooner bar. You're going to find lots of cool things to do in the Royal Promenade, including a dual pianos bar. That's something that's brand new to Royal Caribbean. Looking forward to checking that out there because I think a lot of people are very excited for this. And of course, Boleros, another favorite of all people that go on any Royal Caribbean ship, the Latin themed bar, which has some great music and fantastic beverages, by the way. Really worth checking out. We saw a very early preview of it. You can see here the bar area being set up. And so this is going to be another really popular spot because Boleros is popular on every single cruise ship that we ever go on. Next up is the elevator bank. So something interesting about Icon of the Seas is Icon will have destination elevators. So instead of a traditional elevator in which you push a button and then you get on and you go to deck 5, deck 6, deck 7, it's a destination elevator. You may have seen these on other cruise ships, in fact, not Royal Caribbean, but other cruise lines, or maybe some hotels in which you tell it where you want to go, and then you wait, and then boom, as if by magic, an elevator shows up because it tells you, oh, go to elevator number 4. And you go there and it takes you express to that destination. This idea is built out of a lot of different ideas because it gives Royal Caribbean the opportunity to help manage the crowds better. That, among other reasons, was the major reason for that. Now, something that Royal Caribbean didn't want to talk about, but they wanted to tease, but I did the math for you, is the Supper Club. So the Supper Club is a new area. Now, Royal Caribbean's not talking about it. They just said it's a new dining experience, but based on the concept art, is that this is probably this area. And we don't know much about the Supper Club other than it'll be some sort of an eater experience, a dining experience that combines both entertainment and food together. More details are to come in the next couple of weeks, but this is your first early look at what the Supper Club probably is going to look like. All right, let's move on to Central Park, another neighborhood, an iconic neighborhood of Icon of the Seas, also obviously something borrowed from the Oasis class, but this is going to be the open air park that you're going to find here on the Icon of the Seas. And Central Park on Icon is going to take a different look to it. They're not just copying and pasting it from the Oasis class. There's obviously going to be some favorites in there, for some the beautiful scenery that you're going to find, but also new opportunities. Lou's Jazz and Blues, an Izumi sushi restaurant, among other new venues that are here. Again, Royal wants to take the idea, the tradition of a Central Park neighborhood, but then iterate on it. Add a champagne bar, add some new entertainment options, expand the trellis bar, and really take this to the next level. And certainly in seeing just the bare bones version of Central Park, we can really see the vision of what Royal Caribbean is looking for when it comes to this kind of a neighborhood. And the scale of it is just over the top impressive. I can't wait to check it out myself. Next up are the staterooms. So we only got to see 2 cabin categories because these are, of course, many of them are not ready yet. We got some early previews of 2 different categories, both of which are unique to Icon of the Sea, some new categories that Royal Caribbean is adding, because there's a number of new categories out there. Check out our cabin video that we did in which we go over all the different cabin categories that Royal Caribbean is offering, but we got a chance to check out 2 of them. The first type of cabin that we saw was the Infinite Family Balcony. And the Infinite Family Balcony is an interesting concept because it takes a standard balcony room, but it allows you to expand upon it because it offers the conveniences of a regular balcony room, but it allows you the option of having that exterior space, what we can call the balcony area, to really be an opportunity to be able to have it as an indoor space, an outdoor space, or back and forth as you see fit. Now, in addition to of course, the infinite balcony, the room itself has a lot of storage. We were really blown away by how much storage space there is. It wasn't too long ago that Royal Caribbean built their cruise ships with not that much storage space in their cabins. But in the last, 15 years or so, I think, Royal Caribbean's really upped their game with some of the newer ships in terms of places to put all your things. And with Icon, boy, there's a lot of space for that. It's really impressive, and I was really blown away by that. The other type of cabin that we were able to see was the Surfside Suite. The Surfside Suite is a suite designed for families. So there's space for parents and their kids, but it's in the same area without feeling compressed, like everybody tight together. The kids have their own room, the parents have their own bedroom, and there's still space to spread out beyond that. This is a new type of room category, just like the Infinite Balcony, but this idea faces, of course, the Surfside Suite neighborhood, and on top of that, it's a lot more fun and designed for families in mind. In addition to that, you've also got a split bath concept, which is a wonderful idea, so that way families can, be able to take advantage of both without somebody hogging up the entire bathroom for the entire family. Like I said, there are many different cabins available on Icon of the Seas. There's traditional ones as well, and there's suites, and there's inside rooms, and traditional balcony rooms, but in addition to all of that, you also have your traditional cabins and some new cabins as well. So whether or not your family is just 2 people, 4 people, 8 people, you've got lots of different options. And Royal Caribbean really wants the ship to be purpose-driven for families because a lot of the cabins can be expanded in the sense that you can book connecting cabins. You can book cabins that are near each other. So if you have 6, 8, or 10 people within your group, you can all stay relatively close together. Surfside is our next neighborhood. Surfside is a purpose-driven neighborhood specifically for families. So the idea here is, again, Royal Caribbean wants a ship that is really well attracted to families of all ages, and Surfside is a neighborhood specifically designed and built for young families in mind. There's a lot to do in Surfside, and the idea here is that you're going to find plenty to do to keep you occupied, but Royal Caribbean doesn't want Surfside to be just an area where your kids have something to do and the parents nothing to do. That's why they've built it for both in mind, that it's not just heavy on the kids and nothing for the parents to do, and of course not the other way around either. So it's not a solarium in the sense that it's adults only, and it's not Adventure Ocean in which it's just kids only. There's a mix of both for everybody. Certainly you're going to find the arcade, you're going to find Splashaway Bay, which is the splash area. There's pools for the adults. There's actually bars that are made for families so adults can get drinks, and there's also mocktails designed for kids. So again, it doesn't feel like, oh, my parents are going to get a drink at the bar, I'm going to be bored now. It's an opportunity for both kids and their parents to enjoy things together. Now, wouldn't it be a Royal Caribbean cruise ship, at least a newer ship, without a carousel? It'll have a carousel on board. Surfside really promises to be a new opportunity for families to do more together. That is a big mantra that Royal Caribbean wants because, again, they want families not only be attracted to the ship, but also be able to feel like, parents and kids can be entertained at the same time. So they built this neighborhood specifically for families. Now, if you're not someone who has kids, you might say, well, why does this appeal to me? Well, actually, the idea here is really smart because it drives a lot of families back into Surfside. And if you're cruising without kids, well, then that means there's more space for you on one of the other decks of the ship. People enjoy that. Now, conveniently located, I think it's a really smart move, is you're going to find Adventure Ocean and the Teen Club direct access from Surfside. So that means you can easily get there from Surfside. Not too far away, of course, will be Playmakers, which is the sports bar, perfect for the parents as well. So again, they're trying to make everything very centrally located, and it just makes more logical sense in a lot of cases. All right, let's head up to the pool deck. And unfortunately, the pool deck was pretty covered up on the day we were visiting. But the pool area on Icon of the Seas is going to have a lot of interesting areas. Of course, we're talking about Chill Island here. The appropriately named venue is really built to house all the amazing pool activities. Royal Caribbean wanted to have very much a water-centric theme to it because Chill Island is going to completely redefine the cruise ship pool deck. The 3-deck pool area will have the largest pool at sea, Royal Bay Pool, as well as the first swim-up bar at sea called the Swim and Tonic. On the port side of the ship, guests will find the Cove Pool, which is an infinity pool that faces the ocean, and will have in-water lounge chairs, and Cloud 17, the adult-only area retreat for the guests that are at least 16 years or older. So Cloud 17 basically replaces the solarium, and in addition to all that, it will have a dedicated lime and coconut bar as well. Really, when it comes to the pool deck, and we didn't see a whole lot of it because, again, as I mentioned, most of it was covered up, but, pool decks are a major focal point for any cruise ship. And Royal Caribbean really wanted, in addition to the water park, to have this opportunity, this area dedicated for, of course, pools and just being able to chill out. The Suite Neighborhood will also be on Icon of the Seas. The Suite Neighborhood is the largest dedicated suite area on any Royal Caribbean cruise ship. The Suite Neighborhood first debuted on Wonder of the Seas, but on Icon there'll be 3 decks of dedicated space available to those staying in the Royal Suite class, and it'll be the largest suite neighborhood yet. Guests will find a sun deck with exclusive Coastal Kitchen restaurant, as well as a brand new restaurant called The Grove, which will serve up Mediterranean cuisine. On our visit, we were able to see part of the suite sun deck, mostly the Grove area, which is this Mediterranean-inspired motif and menu. But basically, the promise of this area is that if you're staying in a suite, it's going to be epic. So there you go, your first look at Icon of the Seas. Certainly there's more to come, and of course the finished product, but this is an incredible opportunity to see what Royal Caribbean has got so far and what is yet to come. Let us know in the comments below what really stands out to you about Icon, what areas of the ship are you most excited for, and were there any surprises in this video that you weren't expecting? While you're down there below our video, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. That way, YouTube lets you know when we have a brand new video. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.